Okay, stock market technical analysis. We're going to use the charts to be our guide, see what they're telling us. Let's get right into it. Drop me a thumbs up if you're finding value. Check out the private member group for additional trade ideas and market commentary. Link in the description below on that one. Okay, triple Qs, guys. Starting off with the tech sector. Market's pretty much been all about tech. Seeing a little bit of rotation today in other stocks, but you can see what's going on. I mean, look at my Mag 7 stocks here. They're all down except for Nvidia, so it's kind of a one pony show basically, and Nvidia continues to rally. It's now the largest company, publicly traded company on the stock market, and we'll see where it goes. On triple Qs, I don't have any real sell signals. We have momentum has been pretty strong, I guess, in the last couple days. If I drop down to the hourly chart, you can see on the hourly chart, we basically have, momentum continues to kind of trend up. We're really overbought, but it doesn't mean we can't be overbought's not a condition that you want to just short. You can become more overbought. There is this upward channel that I've noticed, and right now Qs is in that upward channel, so no sell signals, no indication that channel's been broken. Momentum on the hourly chart is still there. Now it is, if you roll out, you've got some negative divergence, kind of larger time frame divergences, but in the short time frame, basically going back to the last couple of weeks, the momentum's been there. So no sell signals, no reason to short. The only trade that remains is to, I believe, if you're long, to trail stops. And I don't think it makes sense to put new money to work, but because we're not at support, we haven't fallen. There's no reason. It's not objective to go long at all-time new highs. Doesn't mean it can't just continue to go higher, but in general, and back to the daily chart, we are really overbought. I mean, you can see here, we're about 81 on the RSI. What you want to do, though, if you roll out and look at the RSI, and you want to kind of look at where does the triple Q, what's the most overbought triple Qs typically get? And you can see, and I just marked that out, going back historically, it's about right there, right, roughly there. We can see all those highs as I just roll out, a little bit more overbought right here back in 2017, but in general that's about the area, and you can see we're pretty much right there. All right, so we are about as overbought as the triple Qs gets. It's due for a correction or a breather to, if anything, to reset this RSI, but we don't have any sell signals, so that's it, and we'll just continue to watch that. The one that I like the most is Meta. Just because it has a nice clean pattern. We still have this bearish engulfing, or not this bearish engulfing, it's a island cluster top, gapped up here, gapped down. They rallied it back in there. I think this is stop rate running action right in here, and ultimately I am looking for this to continue lower. This is a topping pattern. Island cluster top, look it up if you don't know what they are or what they look like, but they signal a long-term top. They don't have to be the top, but in general, you treat them as such until proven otherwise. And so that's what we're doing. We're this is the top. Probably want to stop out if it continues up and closes on the daily above, daily close above 530.50. Not on it or maybe close by a couple pennies or whatever. You want to see a solid daily close that you don't really have to really squint to see it. Then that would be where you'd want to stop out on it, because it would negate this as a topping pattern. But as of right now, we're treating it as a top. Gold, this is the gold futures. They kind of look like they're flagging, like bear flagging. You can see here we've got support on this trend line here, broke support, and it looks like it's kind of flagging out. I think there's maybe a little more downside here in gold. And so that's, I'm kind of lukewarm on gold right now. It's not super clear where things are heading in the near term. Looking at the miners, this is GDX. We do have a support line that's been trading down on, and there's decent support right down here, about 32.40. I can see some reactions. You can see lots of reactions there. There's another one. So haven't quite hit that. I could see that being, decent support right down there. Oil continues to rally. Here's USO bouncing off of that trend line, and I talked about how oil is in an uptrend. There's the most recent reaction right there, bouncing off of that and continuing higher. So I would look for oil to potentially go up and take out these highs at 83. You might struggle with them for a little bit, but 80, you take out those highs in 83 and it just continues that uptrend in oil. Oil moving up should be bearish for the markets because it's going to continue to put inflationary pressures on the Fed, which means they're not going to be able to cut. All right. And I talked about how the Fed right now, the market's pricing in its first 25 basis point cut in September. And then it's starting to price in another cut in December. And that's where it's at. We've got, 2 cuts this year is what the markets has priced in as of right now. Any change in that based on inflationary readings would be, most likely bearish for the market. So the trade idea that I like is, DVN. This is one possible outcome. Again, this bullish falling wedge, the widest part of the wedge is right there. And the projected target is the point of the breakout is still way up here. So to me, it looks like an ABC pattern. We kind of go A, corrective B, and then the C to push up to the measured target. So we're sitting at support right now. We've been here for the last couple of days. It's about 45.75. I've got decent reactions on that key level. And I do think that, I'm looking at that to hold. There's also this downward channel, and it's been holding that support level. So looking for, I'm kind of looking for it to hold right in this area and start to move higher. On the hourly chart for DVN, we don't really have bullish divergence. I mean, it's just maybe just barely there on the PPO. Not really clean on the RSI. So maybe we want to put in a new low and a divergent low. So 2 ways to play it. You could buy at support, which would be this downward channel right now, really, or buying a breakout of resistance, which is that upward channel. All right, that's on the hourly chart. Someone asked me about wheat. So wheat has fallen, from what I can tell, to pretty decent support. It supports at about 550 roughly. You can see we have lots of reactions, on or very near that level, kind of right in here, held at 557 right through there. There's a reaction. There's a couple. There's another one. And we're pretty much right at it now. There's also this potential uptrend line here. I only have 2 data points, so I can't validate it yet as an uptrend line. But if the buyers step in here, then that would validate that as an upward trend line. So we've fallen to what I can view as relatively good horizontal support and a potential uptrend line. So I like it. I don't think we have any business going any lower. So if we do, then all of a sudden that changes the technical outlook. But as of right now, it's at support. It looks like a good objective area to go long, essentially. Home builders continue to go lower. The home builder ETF XHB, you can see kind of trading sideways, but in general, the uptrend line has been broken. And they're still holding this support. That's really the next level on the ETF that needs to go. It's about 150. You break that, you should flush right down to 90, about 91 on that one. PHM, the trade that I'm in, looks kind of similar, but in general, we're coming off a divergent high. That's your last divergent high. There's your negative divergence. And we're trending lower. I mean, we are making lower highs and lower lows slowly. So I still like the target of about $99, $50, $100 on PHM for a good level of support. You can see, it's a very clean level of support. So that's where I think we're heading on that one. This one, I did talk about it, and URI did break some support. But again, when you break support, you want to see impulsive selling. All right, and we just didn't get that. So you can see here, clean level of support right through here, some reactions right in here. And then we broke support back a couple days ago, but look where it closed, just barely below support. The following day closed just under that support again. Okay, so that's not impulsive selling. To see a break of support, but just barely, not impulsive. And today, boom, they're pushing it right back above there. So that's a whipsaw, false breakdown. Again, when you see, when you have a sell signal, usually what you want to do is look for divergence first. Then you want to look for breaks of support, and you want that break and the selling to be impulsive. And then you take your shot, manage your position size, and and manage your stops. That's basically it. Here's a short trade idea. It's an objective short now. Chewy. So again, this one had bullish divergence in the past. All right, we pointed that out. You can see we're dropping lower lows, bullish divergence, big old breakout with a huge gap up, and then longer term downtrend line is all the way. You can see this thing's been in a downtrend. So off the February of 21 highs, you got resistance, and look where we're trading right here and now. And they overshot it and snapped it back below. So that is resistance. There is no breakout. You're at resistance, long-term resistance. It's an objective short right there. So that's that. And you might come in for a back test or a test of the 200, something like that would be pretty objective for some profit targets. And we'll wrap up with the semiconductors because that's basically what this market's all about right now. So SOXX, you can see here, been walking up this uptrend line here on the daily chart, support, and there's support right there. It is a divergent high right now. It's not confirmed though, so we need to see the RSI turn down, the PPO turn down to confirm that divergence. And then ultimately you want to see is a break of that trend line. So those are the two things I'd be looking for. Otherwise, the trend is up and it's continuing higher. So just continue, I'm continuing to watch for that one. Pretty overbought on the RSI as well, but doesn't mean it can't become more overbought. So we will continue to watch that. Okay, I'm going to get the video out. Thanks, everyone.